faisais quoi? Le seul truc que je sais que Style Untagged, il existe bien de longtemps. Hein.
But you'll also be a part of the show. It'll make it feel really authentic, I think. Now let me tell you about what's new. We found another set of drawings, always nice. And those foxy heads, which we think could be authentic. Then again, it might just be another crappy cosplay. And we found a desk fan, very old school, metal though. Watch the fingers. Right now the place is basically just, you know, flashing lights and spooky props. I honestly thought we'd have more by now.
Non, là, il est en retard.
Really cool by next week. So we may have to suit you up in a furry suit and make you walk around saying boo. But you know, like I said,
we're
trying to track down a good lead right now. Some guy who helped design one of the buildings says it was like an extra room that got boarded up or something like that. So we're gonna take a peek and see what we can find. For now, just get comfortable with the new setup. Check the security cameras over to your right with the click of that blue button. You can toggle between the hall cams and the vent cams. Then over to your far left, you can flip up your maintenance panel. You know, use this to reboot any systems that may go offline. In trying to make the place feel vintage, we may have overdone it a bit. Some of this equipment is barely functional. Yeah, I wasn't joking about the fire. That's a real risk. The most important thing you want to watch for is the ventilation. Look, this place will give you the spooks, man, and if you let that ventilation go offline, then you'll start seeing some crazy stuff, man. Keep that air flowing. Okay, keep an eye on things, and we'll try to have something new for you tomorrow night.
Bon bah la nuit 1 de fnaf 3 bah elle est... J'ai terminé la nuit 1 de fnaf 3. J'ai terminé la nuit de... Et elle habite où?
Non, vraiment, c'est vraiment, arrête. Ah non, dis. Je te prends dis. Non, vraiment, non, dis-moi, là, c'est juste chiant, là. Dis non.
C'est méchant.
Non, vraiment. Mais non, mais frère, il est en moins 32 même, je vais aller voir à la suite, frère.
Welcome to the Freddy Fazbear Virtual Experience. Fazbear Entertainment is excited to join the digital age, and what better way to do that than with an edge-of-your-seat virtual reality experience. We know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades, and while it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely based on actual events, the majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic. Lawsuits pending. But we aren't above laughing at ourselves. Ha ha ha. That's why we have recreated many of these completely fictitious scenarios, lies, that you've been fed over the last several years into a hilarious VR game, in the hopes that we can finally move past these childish ghost stories and develop a new relationship with you, as well as your kids. Don't forget the merch, perfect for birthdays. So sit back and enjoy a few scares. We do, however, ask that you agree to a simple way. You acknowledge that Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for accidental digital consciousness transference, real-world manifestations of digital characters, nightmares, night terrors, night sweats.
Allez dans ton collège. Ah bah force. Tu vas pas faire comme les diamants. C'est pas bien. Ah le bâtard. Mais... Je vais te cagouler. Je vais te cagouler. C'est pas... C'est maltraitance animale tout ça. Bon bah je vais essayer de t'emmener je vais essayer de t'emmener FNAF FNAF 2 Je pense que j'arrive à terminer FNAF 2. Tu es Janie? Si j'arrive à terminer FNAF 2. Un bâtard.
Hello? Hello? Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location, you know. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. they've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Facial recognition, advanced mobility. They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now that being said, no new system is without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office. So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. And as for the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about robots seeing you as an endoskeleton without his costume on and wanting to stuff you into a suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quirky modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have lights, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to. Keep the music box wound up. Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Ouais, non, c'est rare.
Putain, non, mais t'imagines, genre, là, genre, tu vas en cours, tu le sens, il y a peut-être, genre, il y a peut-être plein de meufs qui est là juste pour ton taf. Je fais comment, moi?
Mais pourquoi ils vont retourner dans des conduits, le Bonnie, 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 Bonnie? Ouais. Yes. Non, je peux pas faire du VR en live. Je peux pas, sinon ça coupe mon live. Mais au pire, tu vas sur YouTube, tu marques mon pseudo play. Non, t'inquiète.
Tu veux. Je vais t'entraîner.
Ouais.
C'est bien que toi t'avais une chaîne YouTube.
Hmm.
Toi, pourquoi ça peut aller partout? Allô?
Ouais.
Ça ne sait même plus écrire.
Ouais. Bah merde.
Non, ça va plus vite.
Qui-
En direct. Moi, c'est ton seul spectateur, ouais. Pourquoi tu te jettes?
T'inquiète. C'est un truc sur YouTube. J'ai fait regarder secret de fnaf Brotted. Apparemment, si tu jettes plein de fois la peluche de Bonnie, ça va te donner ça va te donner comment dire, ça va te donner un trophée. Mais bon. Flemme. Merde.
Sur le jeu,
Bah en fait c'est tous les FNAF hein. C'est tous les FNAF en un seul jeu. Hein?
Welcome back to Parts and Service. Oh no, it looks like Bonnie's guitar. Great job. Deposit the well done. Now, deposit the right eye in the cleaning. Good job. To open Bonnie's faceplate, carefully press the two buttons. Well
Ouais
done.
mais j'aime bien.
You now have access to Bonnie's harmonization module. Something is not right. One of those notes is out of tune. You may push the button and press the blinking button again to verify your work.
Orange.
bleu, vert, rouge, jaune, orange.
Vas-y.
Orange, bleu, vert, rouge, jaune.
Non en fait c'est pas les mêmes codes à chaque fois. Bon. On va démarrer.
Welcome back to Parts and Service. Oh,
Ouais,
great job.
c'est-
Deposit the well done. Now, deposit the right eye in the clean. Good job. To open Bonnie's faceplate. Well done. You now have access to something is not right. One of those notes is out of tune.
Jaune.
You may push
Orange.
the button again to replay the audio.
Bleu,
Press the blinking
vert,
button again to
rouge,
verify your work.
Jaune, orange. Bleu, vert, rouge, orange. Mais laisse-moi faire mon truc en fait, je sais pas. Oh, non, je sais pas, je demande. Hein. J'ai même pas le temps de. J'étais en train de faire le truc, d'un coup il me bouffe.
Welcome
ouais.
back to Parts and Service. Oh, no. Great job. Deposit the well done. Now, deposit the right eye in the cleaning receptacle on your right.
Hmm?
Welcome back to Parts and Service. Oh no, great job. Deposit the left. Well done. Now, firmly deposit the right eye in the cleaning. Good job. To open Bonnie's faceplate, carefully press the 2 buttons located on either side of Bonnie's jaw. When done correctly, you should hear 2. Well done. You now have access to Bonnie. Something is not right. One of those notes is out of tune. You may push the button again to replay the audio check. Press the colored button that corresponds to the incorrect note.
Ouais. Non? Non, je suis pas mort. Bah, je te mets un œil, respecte-moi, je sais pas. Non, non, je veux bien, mais je t'ai mis un œil.
J'avais expliqué avec Timon.
Bah, je l'embrouille.
T'as arraché avec un œil.
Welcome back to Parts and Service. Great job. Deposit. Well done. Deposit the right eye in the clean. Good job. To open Bonnie's faceplate. Well done. You now. Something is not right. One of those notes is out of tune. You may push the button again to replay the audio check. Press the colored button that corresponds to the incorrect note. Press the blinking button again to verify your work.
Tu me dis de faire ça. Je fais ton truc. Non, je sais pas, je demande. Continuer. Je vais faire ça. Mais c'est pas un speedrun sur ce niveau.
Welcome to Vet Repair.
T'as réussi? Oh non, ça c'est LR des longues, je crois.
Ouais, mais là, je vais faire un speedrun. Il y a personne qui fait pour ça. Il était pas concentré, j'étais pas concentré. On va démarrer. Et en fait là, vu que je le refais, le monde il est 10 fois plus obscur. Il est obscur.
Faut aller voir sur Short ou pas?
Hein?
Welcome to Vet Repair.
Dans le live en mode Short.
C'est pas du tout.
En mode Short, ça va. Au début, des personnes.
Bon, je pense que je vais arrêter un petit peu le live parce que là, ça commence à me faire chier.